All right, so we're just giving just 3 minutes or so, um, waiting for the other few that committed to join, and we will get started. And for everyone that is here, I'm just greeting you guys on the chat. Feel free to say hi back or share um, a positive note. Hopefully, you guys had a good day. I really hope you guys had a good day despite the rain. So feel free to just greet us and say something on the chat. We will just give like a minute or so. Uh, and then we should get started. Again, I want to thank everyone that is here on time. Appreciate. And it's good to have a few of these numbers coming in. Uh, hello. Basile, I think that's correct. And everyone is welcome to ask questions whilst chapter will be going through. I would not like to keep you guys for too long, but I'm really hoping that it will be a um, valuable and informative session. So I think we'll just get started, and I will just introduce myself real quick whilst other people are still coming in. So, okay, there's more people coming in. Great. So, yeah, well, my name is Kim, and I am the founder of a company called MindCiti, as you can see there. And what we often do with my colleague as well, Japta, we often set up these webinars as a way to uplift, inspire. We mostly call it like coaching sessions or group sessions where we just share some of the elements that you would have received if you had joined any of our program. But what MindCiti does, in essence, it is a mobile application, a mobile platform that is aimed at providing support from a soft skills perspective, from a well-being perspective, and we do it using different method, which will be assessment or engagement content, as well as flashcard learning content, which you can go on there and get to learn a bit more on soft skills, but also be very much self-aware for you to grow in your career. And we do it across, right? So it doesn't matter. It doesn't only have to be when you are in already working, but it's more from how do you develop yourself across, right? So these sessions are very much open, and we hope that you will be joining more of them. This is our second one, and we thought this one will be a good start if we talk about what you probably made as resolutions just a few probably weeks ago, a few months ago, and how you would then be guided within your journey of how you would move forward. So, Japta, who is my co-founder, is the industrial psychologists in our team who would then be taking you through slides that we prepared. And I do not want this to feel like you are just sitting there and listening. Feel free to put any questions on the chat. For anyone that received the link, you would have seen that to register, we would usually ask you in that link how you're feeling. And we've also asked you if you have any questions, and we'll also put it for Japta to then assist. And I see there were quite a few questions which are very important, and some of them would have to do with how to deal with work stress, how can you create an environment that support your goal and habits, um, how do I get smart goal for the new year, so all of these are hopefully going to be answered here. So I'm then believing that the people that are here will then have valuable information. And further than this, you can also get a lot more information onto the app once you download it on the App Store and the Android. And I might actually say that we did quite a good project recently with one of the person that is here, Robin. So I appreciate you coming in here. So yeah, we're really hoping that you guys will have valuable uh, uh, um, insight here. And if you know anyone that said they would have also loved to be here, if you know a family member or friend that would be benefiting from this engagement, then feel free. It's valuable lessons that we then provide. So um, yeah, so we would then move on. So this is what MindCiti is, and as I've explained, we set up a couple of simulations, a couple of assessments, a couple of learning aspects, some goals that you would then need to reach, and a couple of assessment as well as other stuff. So if you go on there, we've got other features like interview prep. For any of you that is planning on preparing for an interview, you would then have your own personal coach on there, which then gives you immediate feedback on how to engage. If you are an entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur and you want to test what kind of what your pitch could be, we've got a simulation there where you pitch to Bill Gates or whatever, and then you get immediate feedback. Those kind of things you can actually get here. So should be useful. All right. So welcome again, and thank you for joining. And every time that we have these sessions, you will then be receiving the invitation as well, which we're planning on of obviously having probably every second month, if not every month. And hopefully that will be valuable information and lesson you can get. All right. Thank you. So just to get you started, Jafta, can I please hopefully get from the audience a thumbs up if we are all okay? If we are all ready, if you want to throw in a heart there, feel free to do so. But I'm hoping that you guys are good. Cool. Perfect. All right. So I will give it off to Jafta, who will then introduce himself. And then we will then get started with our session. But as I said, to feel free to drop in a message or question on the chat, and then we can answer to those questions. All right. Cool. Over to you, Jafta.
All right. Good evening, friends, family. fellows. Welcome to MindCiti. My name is Javta. I'm an industrial and organizational psychologist. So thank you so much for honoring the invitation. I am definitely going to empower you in terms of the topic for the webinar. And I'm also going to learn from the questions that you'll be posing. So I will switch off the camera for now so that we can be able to proceed. Right. So in terms of MindCiti is a very good platform that will help you position yourself in from psychological perspective. We always say it's all about time. It's all about time, and one needs to set goals. The emphasis is on how do you develop good or positive habits to beat the New Year resolution every time. So we're going to be sharing stories and strategies to inspire how can you achieve better work-life and work-life balance, as well as the extent to which you can be able to reposition yourself and set goals, set smart goals, set realistic goals that can be able to help you to achieve the balance or integration. We're also looking at how do you make things happen? Why do you experience challenges when you are setting your New Year resolutions? Every year we set goals for ourselves. Sometimes we achieve them, sometimes we don't. And the following year we fall into the same trap again of setting the same goal. So today we are going to be looking into which approach can we use to set those goals, and what is it that can help us? All right. So one of the things is to look at why New Year's resolution fails. Before you start to come up with a goal, it's important to start thinking. I've studied, for example, this work-life interface, the extent to which your work is likely to spill over into your life, and your life is likely to, other aspects of your life are likely to spill over into your work. I've studied that for over almost a decade, and I've realized that one needs a strategy. One needs to be accountable. One needs a good plan to be able to persevere, to be able to achieve the desired outcomes. So we're all going to be looking at the strategies that can help you to follow through with your plans. Everyone makes plans. But what is key is to make those plans a reality, to be able to achieve those plans or goals. So when you've set those goals, how do we get to a point of setting those resolutions, those goals in a way that it makes sense, it is a meaningful goal to you? So you get to a point where you think, but how much time do I need for this? You've got a target. It's about time. We're going to be inspiring how to work around that. So this webinar is all about making things happen in the new year. Actually, it's all about why your resolution often results in disappointments. They sometimes seem not to work. We can all agree, if I were to put it to you, that resolutions are well-intentioned. We all have the intention to achieve those. When you are standing on the edge of a new year, you consider all the possibilities that lies ahead, that fresh start, the feeling that makes you want to stand up a little straighter and strive to make these things happen, and in a better way this year as compared to the last year. So we tend to think about some things we want to do differently. Therefore, we set some resolutions, we set some goals, and then barrel into the new year. But before we know it, instead of, for example, eating healthier, we are chowing down a lot of junk food, adding more chocolate, your ice cream. We skipping that workouts and then skipping to the next one too. With every wrong move, we feel bad until we just give up altogether and vow to do better next year. So today we are putting an end to that, to say, for every goal I set, how should it look like? For every goal I set, which strategies should I put in place? And what is it? What is the vehicle that will keep me going? So you set the target, you set the goal, you achieve that particular goal. Right. So today we will be talking about those 3 reasons why setting new goals often fails. So one of the reasons why resolutions or your goals tend to fail, it's because they are too vague. There's no plan. Sometimes even yourself, you write them down. This is what I want to achieve. This is what I want to see, where I want to see myself by the end of 2025, 2024. But one thing for sure that tends to lag in most cases that I've dealt with is there's no clear plan in terms of how should I go about those goals. There is no accountability. So those are the 3 reasons that I want us today to focus on. So if you've got a goal, think about it. How achievable is this goal, and how measurable, achievable we're looking at? Can I achieve this? And when can I achieve this? With what resources, or the how part of it? So the sense of practicality in it gives meaning. The sense of who is going to help me to achieve this goal also becomes relevant. So you want to set goals this year, but you're not sure where to start, or it feels overwhelming, or you know you need to set the goals, but you're having trouble carving out some of the time. So the problem with vague resolutions or goals are sometimes we want to set those vague goals, those very broad goals. In other words, I can say we tend to be over ambitious. For example, when you look at the resolutions, some of them, they tend to be open-ended. The example I made there is, you've got someone who says to you, I want to eat healthier. You know what, this year, I need that summer body. I need this and that and that. I want to start eating healthier. I want to stay in shape. But if that's a goal, coupled with the goal, the next question becomes, how do I achieve that? How do I achieve that goal? What is my plan? And when should I start eating? At what intervals? Coupled to this eating, what else should I put in place that will help me to eat healthier? What is the desired outcome? How much do you weigh now? What is my main concern? Do I look overweight, or what's happening? So the solution to most of the open-ended resolutions or goals lies in setting SMART goals. SMART goals, we're talking about what we call a goal that is measurable, a goal that is attainable, relevant to you, and also has a time frame. So a resolution is typically a little bit open-ended. Like the example indicated, you want to eat healthier, I want to run more, spend more time with your family. So what do we do instead? The not so secret success to this is not resolutions, but there's a little more to that can help you in terms of setting the goals. If you set the goal that is too vague or open-ended, you won't get very far with those either. That's why I recommend setting goals that are SMART. So today, when you set any goal, it can also be a task. It can also be a deadline, work-related or personal. Think about this SMART abbreviation. So let's talk about that. By SMART, I mean the goal is it's specific, it's measurable, you are able to attain it, and you find joy in terms of it's motivating for you to achieve it and it's relevant personally. So that's the strategies that can help you in terms of doing that, in terms of setting the goal. Let's take a closer look at those. So in terms of the specific, which is the first letter, SMART, it stands for specific goal. The vague one will be, I want to get healthier. You will notice here on the slides, I made an example in terms of the vague one, which is the ones that you should not be formulating as part of your outcome. So if you say, I want to get healthy, it's still not a specific goal. Rather, what you want to set for yourself is, I want to exercise 3 times a week. When you exercise 3 times a week, it will still help you to get to your desired outcome, which is getting healthier, which is maintaining that summer body that you want. So you can notice the difference between the two. The first one, it says, I want to get healthy. Everyone desires, everyone wishes to be healthy. But for that goal to be specific, you need to be able to define it. You need to qualify it further. So you've got this one, which says, I want to exercise 3 times a week. So you are able to measure it. For example, you are able to know, if I said if I have achieved my goal, I know I've exercised, but how many times a week? 3 times. So the second part of it is the letter M, which stands for measurable goals. So in terms of this, you will say, how will I know when I'm successful? How will you know if you are successful in terms of implementing your goal? It's when you've exercised 3 times a week. The other thing that will also help you in terms of that is you wanting to run half marathon by October. So what you will also notice in terms of that is you've got a specific goal, you know when you have achieved that, and it's time bound. By the end of October, this is what I want to achieve. Then the other one, the next one, the third one is letter A, which stands for attainable. That specific goal needs to be achievable, needs to be motivating. It needs to be realistic to a point that when you start taking steps to achieve that, you don't feel demotivated, you don't feel demoralized. So meaning the example that I gave here is breaking a personal record at work. Sometimes you are overwhelmed, or I want to get to the same example that I started with, to say, okay, I exercise 3 times a week, but in terms of these exercises, what is it? What type of exercises should I do? Can I be able to exercise? Yes. Can I be able to exercise 3 times a week without giving pressure, without putting strain on my health, putting strain also on other roles that you still need to perform? All right. The other one is the letter R, which stands for relevant. The goal needs to be relevant. You need to align it with a long-term outcome. How does this goal fit into my life vision? So at the end of the day, you are looking at a situation where you say, okay, the desired goal is for me to be healthy. Currently, how much do I weigh? So I weigh 80 kg. I want to ultimately weigh 60 kg. So my, what do you call this? This is my BMI. This is where I want to see myself. So this become relevant because at the end of the day, you becoming healthy, it means you need to lose certain kilos. And by losing certain kilos, you are also able to monitor it It's not a matter of eating healthy only. It's also a matter of exercising and being able to measure how much did I lose.
Sorry to pause you there. Just have a quick question,
Yes.
which I would like to probably, probably consider from also the other people. How do you then look at it from, if you were to provide probably 2 or 3 examples that will then cater for someone who is at school at the moment, or busy with wanting to plan certain goals for their school achievements, as well as anyone that's probably planning certain goals for their careers. If we were to use those, what would be your advice on those kind of examples as well?
All right. Good question. So in terms of that, it becomes actually more practical. Say, for example, you want to do well, you want to improve your maths results, and you've noticed, okay, the previous year I was not performing quite well in terms of your results. So your specific goal will say, I want to pass my exam. That is the vague one. I want to pass my exam. Then the specific one will say, I want to pass my maths exam by 60% or by 65%, or 80. I want to obtain a distinction. So the moment it becomes a specific and measurable goal is, okay, for me, the end goal is to obtain a distinction, which is 80%. How do I go about that? I need to practice maths at least, I need to attend extra classes at least 2 or 3 times a week. So it means the first thing, the next plan is I need to enroll for a tutor. I need to get a tutor. I need to get someone who can be able to help me in terms of this. So the measurable part of it is, how do you know if you are successful in terms of this? So as part of me, I moving closer to that particular goal that I've set, I am going to set set activities, do assignments, monitor how well do I do in terms of my assignments. Monitor also how is my performance with the class test that you write. So the other thing could be, okay, the tutor that I'm going to get will also provide you with assignments, will also give you class tests or any other form of formative assessment. How well are my marks improving there? So the attainable part of it is, okay, I know I'm going to be attending the classes, extra classes, 3 times a week. So I need to make sure that I at least get 50% or 60% with all those form of assessments. So now, the other thing which also will help you in terms of it being a plan towards that is, how is my attention span? How long can I focus when I'm studying? Okay, I need to at least practice maths for 45 minutes or for 40 minutes every day. So again, it shows you, okay, I can focus for 40 minutes and then take a break and switch to something else. It's attainable. You are able to do that for yourself. So how do you align it with your long-term life vision? Now, if your performance become consistent throughout all those class tests or assignments, then you are able to check, okay, do the checks by yourself. Okay, my performance has been consistent, and I've been grasping and understanding the concepts. So if I how much of the curriculum did I cover? If you've covered 80% of the curriculum, definitely it's a yes, because you know you will be able to respond, you will be able to correctly work out the formulas in terms of your maths assessment, last test or exams. So the other thing is it needs to be time bound. So if you are working towards improving your assessment, your maths results or grades, you are definitely going to say, okay, when am I writing the exam, the first exam, the trial exam, for example, if you are working towards that? So it means now, if I were to be realistic, I need to check how much time am I, and how much of those 40 minutes can I be able to squeeze in and still be able to achieve, to give attention to other subjects. So the secret lies in being specific. The secret lies in having a plan. As you define a plan, this is how I'm going to go about it. But it needs to be realistic. If you know you are not focused, your attention span is short, then you shouldn't shoot yourself in the foot and say, I'm going to study for the whole hour, because we know a human mind can only focus effectively for 45 minutes. Right, I'm not sure, Kim, if I answered you and if there's any other question.
No, you did, thanks. But if anyone else has got a question, you can put it on that.
Let's talk.
If you've got a question. Otherwise, we will continue and then definitely go back to the questions that you guys had for those that had put on the form. So not a problem, no pressure.
Yes. So some of the things is, yes, I've got this outcome, but why every time whenever I set the goals, do they fail? It means the first thing, there's no plan. There's no mechanisms in place that can help you to follow through. So you need to create a structured plan or create a routine that can help you to be on track. So in terms of this, I've seen so many people say, you know what, I need to pass my matric with flying colors. But when you ask this person questions, how do you study? It becomes a difficult question. No, I just study. When do you study? It also becomes a challenge. You want to get good grades. You want to study, but you don't know. You don't have a structured plan in terms of, okay, every week, every week, this is how I'm going to approach this is my roster, and this is how I'm going to fit other roles if I'm going to exercise. Also, this is where the time for exercising will fit in. So a follow-up plan is important in terms of it will also help you to keep yourself accountable. So I've seen, say, for example, you ask yourself, okay, I want to achieve this. Is your goal clear? Is it easy to understand? If you were to compare yourself, your version now with the version of last year, can you spot the difference in terms of how you will approach things? The example that I started with is I want to get healthy in 2025. The first thing, I want to get healthy. It's pretty vague. Getting healthy could mean any number of things. It could mean running a race. It could mean changing your diet. It could mean losing weight or meditating. But if you say, I want to exercise 3 times a week in 2025, it's a crystal clear goal. There's no confusion. You know exactly what you are doing. When you know what you are doing, you are more likely to achieve it. The measurable part of it is you need to be answering this question: how would I be successful? Formed consistently, about 50%, you know you are working towards the bigger goal. How much and how often do you need to do that, which you defined as a goal? It looks like I want to run a marathon by October. I will renovate the bathroom by July. There's a deadline there. I will lose 10 pounds. I will organize all of my photos, all being the measurable part. Or like the first example, I will exercise 3 times a week. So when you look at it in terms of attainability, it's probably the most common meaning for A, if you look at it. So if you were to look at it, is your goal realistic? For example, you will climb Mount Everest in February, might not be realistic if you've never gone hiking before. So it means now your physique, is your physique allowing that? Are you exercising? How are you preparing towards that? Because you cannot just wake up and say, I'm going to climb Mount Everest. For example, I will make 1 million by June, might also not be attainable if you make if you make smaller gigs, for example, that do not even amount to you making 3K. So you also need to be realistic and it needs to be attainable. And while both of these examples that I made are kind wild, it can be easy for your eyes to have big goals. But at the end of the day, we know it's easier to set a bigger goal, but you need to be able to bite bit by bit, not a big chunk of that. All right. So what is the key in terms of the examples that I made from school perspective and from physical health perspective is you need to find accountability. Coupled to, here's my goal, this is the plan that I'm going to put in place. The next key ingredient there is finding how you can hold yourself accountable. So one way of doing that is to find someone who's working towards a similar goal. If you are still in school, you find someone who wants to also improve their maths grade. It might be more than one person, then you form a group, you form a study group. Also, in terms of that, they are responsibility. The moment you form a group, a study group, you also need to come up with plans and steps in terms of how are we going to achieve this. For example, okay, how often are we going to meet over a period of a week? What time are we meeting? Where are we meeting? For how long are we meeting? What is it that we are going to be practicing? And when we say we are done for the day, what is it that we need to be able to see? What's indicative of your success at the end of the day? So having someone joining you, it can also help to keep you in track. It can also help to motivate you to keep going. So the other thing is, I already indicated that the mastermind group, it's when you join a specific group, a social group that is having the same ideology, that is having the same vision, helps to, if you want to get healthy, if you join a group that also not just eat healthy, but also go to the gym together, exercise, go for hiking, and also you talk to one another in terms of what is it that you put in your nutrition. So your nutritional habit are also important. And the last thing there, it's coaching. You need to work with a coach. You need to work with someone who knows what is it that you are doing. For example, if now you decide I need to get healthy, you need to work, you need to have a diet, you need to know what is it that you're going to eat, because physical activity can also have an influence in terms of your body. The amount of energy that you need for those type of exercises should also match what you are eating. Then the same thing applies to the example that I made in terms of the study groups is you also need to find out if I were to study, do I know what are the most effective study techniques? You also need to know strategies in terms of time management. So I've seen a lot of people having very brilliant and crystal clear goals, but not having missed the part of how do I equip myself? What is the plan? Do I know the strategies to get there? The vehicle is the strategy. Because if you just have, okay, I'm passionate about living this type of a life. I'm passionate about this and that, but there's no plan. There's no strategy to that. So you are setting yourself up for failure. So be accountable, work with other people towards the same goal, and find someone who's a specialist in terms of that or an expert in terms of that to guide you, right? So the one thing that makes it a reality, that makes setting goals to make sense to all of us, it's lies in terms in the whole picture of accountability. Is the function success, the extent to which you achieve success, you become successful towards working for the goal you've set. For the SMART goal lies in accountability plus the system. Accountability is, I need to do this. I need other people to be, you need to join other people. You need to have some sort of a structure. You need to learn what are the strategies, what are the techniques to get you there. The systems in place revolves around how am I going to follow up? Do I have enough resources to do that? So do I have knowledge to go about what I want to or what I desire? So you make that SMART goal, you build habits. The system also lies in building positive habits. If you know, for example, you need to get healthy by 2025, you start eating healthy. But you and I, we know, I am a psychologist, you are a student, this one is a social worker, this one is a dentist. We don't know a lot in terms of, okay, what the nutritional habit, the nutritional intake, what is it that needs to be in my plate? If I to a point that I can be able to exercise. And then now if I want to register for an additional course to empower myself, maybe MBA, and you want to get to understand how should I reposition myself? So those type of little strategies, inputs from other people who have walked the same route that you want to embark on are the systems that can help you. So you don't say, I want to bake a cake, a proper one. But at the end of the day, you don't have the recipe. You don't know how are you going to measure, which ingredients should you buy, and how are you going to measure those. So getting into the positive habits will help you in terms of that. So one of the systems that can help you to achieve that is MindCiti. MindCiti becomes a system, and it also gives you a sense of accountability in a way that you will have a personalized developmental plan. You'll have a coaching, someone who will coach mechanisms in place that can also monitor how you are doing. The platform can also help to keep track in terms of what you are eating, and also your emotional intelligence. How are you managing the stress, as well as some of the systems in place. If you are stressed and you feel like you need to handle, you need to be able to manage that stress, you need to cope, then there are meditation aspect that, platforms that can also help you, guide you through in terms of how to go about meditating when you're alone. So it's a user-friendly platform. It's a user-friendly tool that can help you achieve that. So with MindCiti, it offers you psychological assessments to keep track of how you are doing, how is your mental health, and coaching in terms of aligning your personal goal with that bigger goal the SMART goal that you want to set. So there's a strength in terms of you setting the goals. The example I made there, you've got Mesh, he is a professional, but struggle in terms of attaining work-life balance. So Mesh subscribed to the prescription programs of MindCiti and became very familiar, became very interested in one of the services they're focusing on work-life balance, emotional intelligence and personality. That is to say, but what type of a person am I? How do I approach things in life? So when I am overwhelmed by stress, it can be work stress, what type of a person am I, and how should I go about repositioning myself? How do I handle emotions? Because with work-life interface, you find that there are some of the aspects of your life that requires your attention. Sometimes the type of work that you are doing requires you, when you knock off, to have mental shift, to say, okay, now I'm no longer the person I was at work because of I'm going home. I need to be a caring husband, a caring mother, caring partner. I need to be nurturing. The role, the behavior that you displayed at work is no longer the one that will be relevant and useful at home. So how do you reposition yourself for that? So areas for growth based on the result, he set a SMART goal. He said, you know what? I need to have a structured evening routine by 8 o'clock every day to improve my mental well-being. This could include, knocking off, winding, relaxing a bit, getting into MindCiti, accessing the meditation tool there, and listening to yourself, reflecting, and the moment you are done with that, it can be for 15 minutes, for 30 minutes. As soon as you are done there, you are able to face your life, your personal life, with a new outlook, with a new positive outlook. You are feeling more relaxed. You are able to. People always say, the way my husband or my partner was so overwhelmed when he knocked off, whenever I suggested small things, he crashes or she crashes them. There's a tendency to snap on me, blah, 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 blah. So, but the moment you get into a structured routine, it helps you to keep track of how am I feeling now? Am I in a good state to interact with other people, or what's happening? And then the platform, it's as user-friendly, like I indicated, and it's something that you can use at the comfort of your home, and it can also help you in terms of relaxing and getting control of your emotions. So with it, you're also able to reflect and say, when I set goals, what went wrong? Did I have a plan? And when you download it and you check, it will keep track on top of the type of activities you've done and how you are doing in the meantime. So there is accountability in terms of that. So what you bring on the table is the goal, to say, this is what I want to achieve. And I'm sure most of you in this attended this webinar, the bigger question you're asking is, okay, I've got this goal. All right, I understand the principle of SMART, defining, formulating a SMART goal. But how is MindCiti going to help me? The how part of it, MindCiti is a user-friendly platform. The how part of it lies in, do I know what I want? Do I know how it should look like when I say I've got it and I'm done with that? So you come with a goal, and MindCiti will help you with the services that are there to set that goal so that it's not vague, so that you've got a plan. MindCiti fills that part of you having a plan of how am I going to do this. And then the accountability part of it is it keeps track of how you are doing, how you are feeling. And there's also a reflection part of it, where if you feel like you don't want to talk to your friend, you can talk to the platform, and then it keeps track of your emotions, it keeps track of your feelings, and provide you with practical strategies that will help you in achieving a SMART goal. Right.
Doctor, sorry to cut you there. As we are nearing to the end, because it's recap there. There is just a question here,
Yes.
which I think is quite important and could be relevant to everyone. It says, so in terms of everything that we've engaged with, from a SMART goal, from how to apply it and how to set them and all of that, the question is, how do you apply this? How do you apply this to someone whose job hunting, right? How do you apply this for someone who's job hunting? Getting hired is an external factor that you don't have 100% control of. So within that space of, anyone that is also sending their CVs and applying, and realizing that, being hired is, from the perspective, just an external factor, how would a SMART goal also be applied for someone like that?
All right.
Just to put the spot there, sorry, we left with 6 minutes. So, and anyone that has any other questions, you can throw them in there. But yeah, hopefully within there, you'll be able to answer and conclude that. Thanks.
All right. That's a very good example in terms of the question. So the other thing that when we apply the SMART approach, so we are looking at when you are job hunting, you need to start by checking with yourself the type of job that you are interested in. Not even interested, the type of job you are qualified for, which industry or company are you interested in working for. Do you have the key skills, experience, and qualification required? For example, I want to secure a human resource specialist role in a mid-sized corporate company focusing on maybe wellness programs. That will be a specific goal. So the measurable part of it is you set quantifiable goals such as the number of applications you will send per week or the networking contacts you will make. Example, you will apply to top 10 job postings per week and reach out to 5 industries in the one that you indicated interest in. Specifically, which platform will you be applying to? Using LinkedIn, for example. The achievable part of it is how do you ensure your goal align with your skills, experience, and the available opportunities? For example, if you lack a specific certification, focus on position that value experience, or you need to focus on, for example, the positions that value the experience or that consider upskilling. So you don't look for something that you don't have because it becomes unachievable for you. It becomes unrealistic. Then the relevant part of it is you need to align your job search with your long-term career goal and interest. For example, in instances like that, if you aim to become an IT person, or if you want to become HR specialist, you will focus on roles in human resource, organizational development, or employee assistance programs. So the last one, which is time-bound, set the deadline for each stage of the job search. For example, I'll secure at least 3 interviews within the next 2 months, and you aim to land a job within 6 months period. So I'm not sure if I've answered you. So you need to structure based on the criteria that I indicated, so that it can help you to stay focused, to track your progress, and to increase your chances of getting into the right role.
Okay. No, thanks, Jefta.
Welcome.
Alyssa will tell us if she's answered, but I hope she is, because this makes sense in terms of maximizing the opportunities of getting something when you set goals that you can measure and that you can keep yourself accountable to as well. So hopefully that is also a tip and an answer to most of the other people. All right, we can do the recap, Jafta. I don't see any other questions, so we can just recap.
All right. So we spoke about the SMART goal, and I honestly like the question, the last question we had in terms of how you approach the job. So the moment it becomes vague, it means you don't have clear steps or plan in terms of how you are going to achieve that. Have this can help you to to be accountable for every step of the way, to be accountable for the things that you want to do. So if you set SMART goals, we've seen with the examples that I made, we've seen with the questions that we've been asked, to say it can help you to remain focused. It can help you to be motivated. So that is where the whole concept of SMART goals lie. And the other thing that you really, really need to know is ask yourself this question. If this is is this the same goal that I've set up for myself last year? And if that is the answer to that is yes, how did you do last time? Last year, how did you track your progress? What is the outcome? And when you are reflecting on that, it becomes easy or difficult to answer yourself or to see if there was a progress or not, then it means you need to check in with yourself. You need to get external accountability. You need to get someone who can also help you in terms of getting where you want to go. All right. Are there any questions or inputs?
No, no, Jefta. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. And I think we're done with the presentation, correct?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jefta. For anyone else that felt like it was also as useful, you are free to clap hands virtually and and share some love. I'm really hoping that there was quite a couple of things that you could acquire and then that you could listen to. I see there was, I don't know if, I think that was probably you trying to clap hands and it ended up to be a raising hand in the meeting. But I really appreciate everyone's time. And again, as I said, we will have it again surely next month. And the key is to empower you, to uplift you, to provide you with tools that you can access, that you can maximize your chances of growth, personal growth, and development in. And that is what also the platform is meant to do, right? So we definitely hope that we keep you guys within the family, we keep you guys close. If you do need any assistance, coaching, support, do not hesitate to drop us a mail. And whenever we can, we will ensure that you get the necessary support that you need, because we do this because we care and because we want to see a lot of development and empowered people. So with that, I think I will thank you, Jafta, again, and everyone else that attended. It was a very good, I mean, very good attendance, and we believe that the ones that here got valuable information. We'll put the link, the video onto YouTube as well, and you will be more than welcome to share it with the other people that benefit from it. I saw there's someone who is joining in now, but seems like they're coming in at the end. But we still love you. We still appreciate you for still coming at the end. And Do have a good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Neo, do you have a question? I saw a hand.
It was a mistake, sorry.
Oh, okay. No problem. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Japta. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Neo. Um, thank you, Alfie. Thank you, Kuruleku. Thank you, Koreta. Um, thank you, Kolani. Thank you, Timbisile. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.